Hello, viewers of Spell, and welcome back to Spellry. Now, I know I didn't put out a video last week. Things kind of got busy. I needed to take a short break. I also believe I found a proper text-to-speech software so that I can bring you even more what-ifs more frequently. And I'll be doing them based on some fan fictions and whatnot, since many of the ones I want to do are fairly long, and it would take a long time for me to properly edit them if I voiced them. Time that I wouldn't normally be able to dedicate to that. And I even have a few fanfics in mind to use. Or perhaps I need to search up the fanfic I'm specifically looking for. But without further ado, this is going to be a new series because I've had it on my mind for a little while. I planned on doing it sooner, but some other stuff came up and I thought they would be good. But currently I'm just having a little bit of writer's block with the What If Midoriya was Yami's reincarnation and Parents Were Villains. Both I intend on doing more content for. I probably should have put them up sooner, but I'm just dealing with some writer's block for them. So we're going to do What If Midoriya had a symbiote like Venom. Now this is a what if I've thought of for a while, and I've had some things that I've decided I'm going to do with it. This is also going to be one of my more interesting what ifs, I believe. So, let's begin. We start out with the UA teachers viewing the students joining, as a dark-haired man named Aizawa points out one of the students. He seemed to have a dark green liquid surrounding him that he was shaping to attacks. As Aizawa just said, that kid's at least got some skill. Though, before he was interrupted and said, "You kicked out an entire class of students. You do realize that you are on thin ice." As a rather small creature that seemed to have been made up of a couple different smaller animals, named Nezu would just say, "Now, Bad King, be kinder to Aizawa. He was in his full right as a teacher to kick out that entire class. Though I wasn't exactly thrilled with it either." As we flash down to the testing area, as the boy was izuka midoriya, as he proceeded to destroy another villain, producing a blade from his arm while cutting through another bot. As he was thinking that, if my counting's right, that should at least make 20? As he was catching his breath, Nezu said, I wonder how they would react if we unleashed the surprise. As with a look of glee on his face, he would press a red button. As a giant robot would appear, look towards a skeleton-looking man with blonde hair. As he leaned over and whispered, "Was that the boy you ran into almost a year ago? The one you think might be a good successor?" As All Might would nod. As the man would nod. This man was Toshinori Yagi, also known as All Might. As this massive robot would appear, Midoriya would prepare to run away before he saw a girl get caught under rubble. As a zero-pointer approached, for a second he tried yelling at it, saying that there was a student right in front of it, before he sighed and rushed forward, as he would create muscle-like tendrils coming out of his back, thick and shapeable, as he would push them under the rubble and force them up, before grabbing the girl and running away. As the teachers would conclude that he should get a decent bit of hero points for that. Though Aizawa was the only reason why he didn't get the maximum. Everyone else glared at him. As we would see Midoriya heading home, as he was concerned that he hadn't made enough points. As he slowly but surely walked towards his house, but he needed to go somewhere first. As he thought back to his days of trying to figure out what his quirk was. As he remembered that, for a long time, He thought he was quirkless, until one day at a stream was going to help Kachan, his childhood friend, out of a stream, but he must have slipped and fallen because Midoriya didn't really remember what happened next. And then, shortly after, he found out he could produce this dark green ooze and manipulate it as if it was part of his body. They hadn't gone back to the doctor that had previously diagnosed him, since his mother thought he was a quack after the scene appeared. Apparently, his quirk produced an almost symbiote-like material that Bon mixed with him provided boost to many different things. It had a number of passive abilities that were less obvious than the fact that it basically gave him a hero suit pre-made, and the fact that he could create blades out of it and enhance his strength. Though, a few years ago, he discovered his quirk was definitely bizarre. As he walked towards a dingy, cluttered beach. As he cleared some of the stuff out of the way, as he approached what he affectionately called his secret base. When he walked in, there were 3 other symbiote-like creatures. As one of them popped up and formed a mouth as it said, "Father!" Flashback. We see Midoriya when he was about 5, rushing around with his friends, including Katsuki Bakugo, as Bakugo had not yet alienated him for quote-unquote being quirkless. As Bakugo would fall down into a stream, Midoriya would rush down to help. As Midoriya would cut himself as a dark green to black tinge substance wrapped over Midoriya, Bakugo and the others freaked out. Bakugo quickly rushed to try to get off Midoriya, exploding parts of it as it went inside. Midoriya then would black out, and he'd wake up later. As we see, the first day Midoriya would come back to school, as he would say, "Kachan, do you want to play?" As Bakugo would just step to the side, as he looked at him, and Midoriya was not sure what the look on his face was. As that was the day they started to grow apart, as we flash back to the present, seemingly talking to 3 pals of sentient ooze. One had a white color, another purple, and the other one was a bright green. Midoriya thought it kind of looked like what you would think a toxic green would look like. In fact, that one occasionally glue in the dark. Midoriya had found out that his quirk spawned mini quirks, or as he called them, symbiotes. He started to think that his quirk was definitely not normal. In fact, he questioned if it was even a proper quirk, given the fact that it could produce sentient, self-sustaining copies outside of itself. As Midoriya thought of the reoccurring dream he would occasionally have. The dreams never had sight, but they had smell and touch, as it felt like a creature breaking out of a container. Loud noises that harmed it, getting into what to him felt like cold water, before merging with something, and seemingly dissolving. Midoriya always shuddered at that. It felt like whatever it had merged with consumed it. Because Izuka Midoriya didn't know that he actually had always had a quirk. This quirk was called cellular fusion, or it would be if anyone had recognized it. The quirk allowed him to pretty much have any organic material in his body, and his body would merge it and incorporate it into himself. That blood wasn't quite right. It would be assimilated. In theory, the quirk could even assimilate an arm, turning it into a proper version for Midoriya. But when the symbiote merged with him, his quirk had consumed it, essentially giving him the symbiote's abilities. But Midoriya had never learned this. He had thought his quirk was the symbiote, until the symbiote, natural time. The symbiote splitting had happened to him 4 times, though it had taken him by such surprise the first time that he had literally lost the symbiote that had separated. He had never been able to find him. Or at least, he was pretty sure it was a him. All the symbiotes he spawned since then seemed to be male, though they were a species that could asexually reproduce by just splitting themselves off. They were closer to sea sponges than normal mammals. Midoriya would make sure they were all okay as he pulled out something from his backpack. It was multiple bars of chocolate, as he would feed all 3 of them their bars, as he would start munching on one himself. He had found he needed it to keep up his quirk strength, and seemingly the symbiotes needed one chemical or substance that was in the chocolate. As he prepared to go home, hoping that he got into UA. And that's where we're going to leave it. A little shorter than I would have liked, but things are getting a little busy on my end. Like I said in the beginning, I was having a little bit of a writer's block on the 2 series I need to get back to. And I'm going to be having some of the AI voiced what ifs that I get off of fanfiction sites, and I hope that you enjoy those. I definitely hope to be putting in a little bit more effort than some of the what if YouTubers who use them. But without further ado, this will be Spellry signing off. I hope you have a good day.